Your Majesty, the troops have assembled. Her Majesty wishes to address us before we leave. Lend her your ears.
I know you have all been worried after the death of the previous queen. Thank you for following and believing in me. We fairies subsist on phosons and take our names from the heavens. Our work keeps the land full of life, and we cannot survive without the land's blessing. The Demon Lord opposes life. He taints the phoson with blood and uses force to violate our land. We feel the fury of the land, and we in turn quake with anger. But we need not fear. This is my mother's bow. Infused with a new power, it shall shatter the Demon Lord's wicked eye. Those that have died here, the prayers of my mother, and those who have returned their names will protect us. We will retake the cauldron, and we'll show the Demon Lord that he has underestimated our resolve. May the land bless us in the name of the fairies!
Queen Mercedes, you have become quite the noblewoman. It's as if the late queen herself stood before us.
I am not my mother. I'm trembling. My fear overruns my hatred. When I think that the evil man who murdered my mother is nearby, my heart beats so fast within my chest. But it has begun. My battle is raging. Ingwe, I hope I succeed.
What this game does a good job of in showing us multiple perspectives is making each side out to, you know, no side is necessarily bad when you're looking at them, when you're playing as them. Like, you may think that Mercedes and the fairies are like this antagonist type of group to the Ragnanival army that Gwendolyn is a part of, but then you realize, oh no, they have their own stuff that's been going on. And that sure, there are villains. Like those old dudes, the Wise Men or King Valentine and stuff like that. But then you need to see what certain characters' motivations are. And you get them from these different perspectives, and I think it's handled really well. And I really admire that. Like, I personally, when I first played the game, I didn't find Mercedes that engaging from the couple of times you meet her in earlier stories, and then you get to this one and you actually come to root for her in the same way you would root for another character, and I feel like that stuff is handled amazingly well in this game. Just, you know, it's a game that wants you to think about stuff. I remember there was an interview with Camelot. They are the developers of Mario Tennis and Golf, but more importantly, the Golden Sun games. And now, I believe they worked on another RPG franchise that they mentioned here. I don't remember what it is. It might have been Shining Force? I don't know. They worked on an RPG thing, and when they were talking about how they handled the Golden Sun games, particularly 1 and 2, they discussed how they handled, in both series, you eventually start playing as the bad guys. or you play as the characters that are in opposition of what the main characters of the previous parts' goal are. In Golden Sun, you play as Isaac and his friends and comrades trying to keep these elemental lighthouses from being awakened because bad stuff will happen. And then you cut to the other group who is trying to light them because it is important, and then it allows you to go into the antagonist's shoes, and it helps tell the story in a more complete way. Golden Sun does a very good job of, I feel like, giving you the most complete package in 2 games of just really just hammering home stuff like that. So we have acquired Brionic. Her ultimate skill costs 50. Fire explosive magic bolts high above. Shower the land below. Do I have 50? Or do I not even have enough? I do. Barely. So you gotta be at least level 30 to be able to use these ultimate skills. The one thing of playing on an easier difficulty is KZ's loud, obnoxious sweating when he's like, oh man, do I have enough to even do this? Oh wait, I do. It's okay. But I enjoy when you get to see the other perspective, and it overall adds to the experience. That game did a good job of it, which, you know, you go through an entire game, you know, thinking certain things, you know, and going through the journey of those characters, and then you go through a journey of another set of characters, and it helps flesh things out. And that was great because the main character of the first Golden Sun was the silent protagonist, because it is you, in a way. And the opposing group has a character, Felix, who talks. But then you play as him as the main protagonist of the second game, and he no longer talks. And your main protagonist of the first game, Isaac, does talk from then on, because he's not the player character anymore. I love stuff like that. I think that's good. And this is your daily reminder, or your, I don't know, daily reminder. You may not be like me, where you have a constant reminder that Golden Sun is a fantastic RPG series made by Camelot, and they're a bunch of fucking dicks because they still haven't finished their goddamn fucking story. Put out a game in 2010 called Golden Sun Dark Dawn, which awakened an old IP that people wanted to see more of for years. And they made it, and that game was alright, and it progressed the plot by like 2%, but that 2% was somewhat fucking engaging, and also cliffhangered harder. Okay, I can't say harder. Cliffhangered about as hard as the original Golden Sun did, and we haven't seen a game since. That was in 2010, it's 2016. Last statement I saw from a Camelot dude who develops these fucking games was, yo, if there's enough fan demand, I guess we'll do it. Motherfucker, you need to understand something. When you make a game, when you make any form of media, and you end it with a fucking cliffhanger that does not have a clear resolution, and also do world building for your game, you no longer have the authority to say, yo, we may continue this as there's some fucking fan outcry for it. You fucking continue that shit. Is always kind of got on my nerves whenever I hear stuff like that. I'm like, well, why'd you leave the game so open like that? And that's a different thing than having a couple of elements that make it seem like, oh, you may want to continue this at some point. Golden Sun Dark Dawn, spoilers, ends with the establishment of an evil Dark Empire antagonist group that is looming in the shadows, ready to do bad stuff. And the main antagonist of previous Golden Sun games is not only alive, but is planning shit. That was the most set-up game to set up that it has ever set up. I don't know when we got to the... Oh yeah, we're talking about perspectives. Here's my perspective on this. Man, fuck those guys. They need to fucking continue that series because holy shit. I'm passionate about this thing, alright? I don't like my plots not developing for years at a time. You may think, oh, KZ, fucking you should be used to it. You like Kingdom Hearts. I say, you're right. Like, finally, we're getting developing plot for Kingdom Hearts, finally. Like, for the first time, thanks to that 2.8 coming out. You know when the last time there was plot development for that shit? Like 2011 with fucking Kingdom Hearts 3D. We're finally getting in there. I mean, you could say there's some developing plot from trailers of new games, but other than that, we haven't really gotten anything. I thought I had more food than this. Oh, I have cacaos. They heal. They healed well enough. That fucking hurts. Fucking Christ. Brr. Alright. I'm not a fan of you. Like, I'm not a fan of you at all. I'm just gonna kind of do this until I win. Oh, that's a shockwave that does damage. I thought that was like something to summon enemies. It is! You're just that strong. Are you kidding me? You just healed? Die. Like, we're finally getting some plot. Like, continuing. Like, continuous plot in Kingdom Hearts. And am I excited? Yes and yes. Like, whenever I follow something and it kind of stops and you have to wait on the creator to, like, continue the plot stuff, it's always a bummer for me. Because I'm like, don't do that to your audience, you know? It's like, you start the story and, you know, people want to see the resolution to it, and when you don't give that to them, it just feels real sucky, you know? It's like if you read manga. There's series like Hunter x Hunter, which constantly goes on hiatus, or Berserk, which also goes on hiatuses as well, and goes at a glacial pace. And it's like, no, I wanna continue the story that I have so much invested into. And Golden Sun's that one that I have a decent amount of investment of growing up with that as being the portable RPG that I love, that is, and, you know, I'm not even in denial about it. I pretty much sure as shit we're not going to see a resolution for it. I just feel like that's just not going to be how that goes. I mean, I honestly have to worry if they're even capable of doing another full-scale RPG of that style. Also, we're doing one of these levels again. If they're even capable of doing it anymore, because they even said that they in interviews, like, the team was slightly new when we made Dark Dawn, and obviously Dark Dawn was not received as well as the other games, but I still think it was fucking awesome. But those they said they had to, like, get some people familiar with this type of game because it's a very intimidating task, and then you had that going on. Okay, this is actually a relatively pattern and skill-based thing we're doing here. But we have that. But then I have to look at what is a recent game that has been put out by these developers. And that's that Mario Tennis game they brought out. That Mario Tennis game is bad. Is it bad mechanically? As far as I've seen, not really, though. But it seems to have been gutted. Like their last output was a game that reviewed poorly because they put absolutely the bare minimum of effort in it. It's one of those games where it's like Street Fighter V. I'm sure everyone knows the Street Fighter V. Everyone's like, yo, Street Fighter V is a piece of shit because that game, you know, has like no content inside it. And it's like that, but imagine if there's no DLC that was ever going to come out for it. That's what Mario Tennis, whatever the fuck they called it, was. I was really excited for that last year at E3. I'm like, more Mario Tennis? Please. I love Mario Tennis. But then it turns out it's impossible to matchmake with friends in that game in the year 2016. It just randomly matches you with people online. And the fact that the only mode it has is some, like, single-player, like, garbage that isn't even that good. And it lacks features. It has less single-player and features variety-wise than Mario Tennis for the N64 had. And then you're like, how is that possible? That game came out like 20 years ago or something. And you're like, how could it have less features? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Then again, it came out for the Wii U, so like they're like maybe why waste the time, but you know. Makes me question if Camelot could ever bring out another full-scale type of game like that. Like another big Golden Sun adventure. Oh, I'd love that so much, man. I'd love it because that was a good RPG that combined these puzzling elements, like using your psychic powers basically to move objects, like make bridges, just do different stuff to get through areas, and then you would also use them in combat, and then you collect these monsters, these Jinn, to you add them to your repertoire. There's so many things you could do in that game. There's so much cool shit. And that series just kind of melted. It really sucks, because there's no fucking good Nintendo RPGs anymore, alright? Like, thinking about it, it's like Mario and Luigi exists. And from what I could tell, And Paper Mario is like... That's what Paper Mario is now. Don't act like that wasn't accurate, because it was. That is what it's like. It's like... Fucking Paper Mario has that problem where the developers are like, well, we already have an RPG series called the Mario and Luigi, so there's no reason for us to make another RPG with Paper Mario. So instead of making a good Paper Mario game, we're gonna try and find a way to make a bad one. I love it because, like, Paper Mario is like a fun... Super Paper Mario was a fun game that was not at all the Paper Mario game that people wanted, but was a Paper Mario game that people liked, which in the end makes it good. It had a full-fledged story. It had dumb platforming stuff and dumb paper stuff in it. So it had all that cool stuff that you would expect in a Paper Mario game, but in the end it wasn't a fucking RPG. It was kind of like an action-based thing. Why can't you just do that? Instead, it's still a turn-based RPG technically, but it's in that sticker star style, and it's like, man, those visuals are so wasted on a game that has no personality in it. It's like suddenly you have if you're getting rid of the RPG aspect, apparently you have to get rid of the personality and the charm away from it too, which is very disappointing. That game could end up being good. I'm talking about Paper Mario Color Splash for the Wii U. It could be good, but then again, it's also being left out to die on the Wii U, a video game console that is set to be obsolete in less than a year. Because the biggest game coming out for it is a Zelda game that is going to be better on the console that's coming out, the NX console anyway. Nintendo kind of disappoints me in a lot of ways. Could it be possible that Nintendo could be the ones that have also kept Camelot from bringing out a new Golden Sun? It never really occurred to me that that could be a thing, but I feel like I can blame Shigeru Miyamoto for no Golden Sun, and that kind of makes me hate him more. It's not so much that I hate Miyamoto, it's just that I kind of want him to stop being a big guy at Nintendo. I don't know what it is. He's just that guy who doesn't like story, and he also single-handedly destroyed the entire Star Fox franchise with one game recently. Where it seems like his motto is, if you don't have a gimmick for your video game, don't make your video game. Which effectively made me not want to buy a Star Fox game when I was really excited for a Star Fox game, because I don't like motion controls, and he forced motion controls. Then he told the Paper Mario Sticker Star game to not have a story, and that wasn't good either. Not a fan of him. He makes good games. Respect motherfucker. He makes great games. I heard they're making a Mario game. Surprise, surprise. I bet that shit's gonna be fucking nuts. But the things he forces them to do. And lets some of those IPs that are really cool that they have die, or just stay there, because it has to have some wacky gimmick. Kind of make me sad. Speaking of wacky gimmicks and weird peripherals no one cares about, we're gonna go break the Baylor. Let's go fight Odin.
Your Majesty, I know you do not wish to hear this, but the fact is that the enemy troops are superior.
Were you suggesting we retreat, you coward? A coward's eyes always see more of an enemy than there are present. Now, continue. Fight like a true Ragnarable soldier, to the end. Give your life to our nation's struggle. Oh. Well, well. So you are the Queen's daughter. Our key to victory has fallen into our laps.
Prepare yourself for our Queen's wrath!
If you wish to challenge me, you should have brought at least 4 or 5 soldiers. Are you not going to attack? You're quivering. Such a disgrace. That a child like you should attempt to strike me. Your youth cannot save you. You will follow Leifthrasir into death's embrace.
Do not tarnish my mother's name with your filthy mouth! You're...
Now you cry.
I cannot look down. As my mother said, I must keep my head up and look ahead. My dearest bow, my Riblam, lend me power.
Struggling against a girl, my troops have weakened. But this battle will change everything.
So the final boss is, of course, Odin, which is a battle you know we win, as you remember from Gwendolyn's story. It's like, how else do we get the ring back? So, one thing. To go back, apparently I started shitting on Shigeru Miyamoto, and I was trying to figure out how that happened. It all traces back to potential conspiracies in my mind about Camelot not making a video game, which then goes back to why Camelot Golden Sun, interconnected stories, and Golden Sun interconnected stories here, and that's how we got here. So I just wanted to get that thought process as to, in case you just came into the video late for some reason. But I really like that in this game. To sum it up, I like interconnected stories like this that, you know, in the end, everyone's kind of good in their own way here. Except Odin, he's actually like 95% of the time, he's a fucking scumbag, and it's the best. He's like, I want terror of the world, because I'm a dick. You gotta appreciate a scumbag. So this fight could be a little difficult. I'm doing very little damage to him, actually. I should probably be a little concerned. Oh, can you not? Fine, I'll just dodge. Can't hit this. Yeah. Odin, I've got an idea. How about you taste my ultimate technique? Bryonic. You know what? That's pretty entertaining of a move. It even staggered him. But we have to face facts here. I'm doing very little damage on this boss. This is not gonna be easy. I need a plan. My plan is to take some sort of potion. How about overload? Yeah, this will improve my damage a decent bit. And then apply that potion with infinite ammo to the mix. Then apply a nice little Healy pop here. And then just unload Alright, so I'm feeling a little bit better. I can very easily die if I take enough hits, though. So I just gotta take my shots. He is a fucking tank, so I don't know what I was expecting. Alright, well, I staggered him a little bit there. He also has some really good punches there. He has not done his Baylor attacks yet, though, which I'm pretty thankful for. Because they're pretty fucked up, I'm gonna be honest. But a lot of his stuff has to do with him getting mad and saying, "Oh, I'm going to punch." Like his float up and then slam down. All of the stuff is like really telegraphed. He's actually taking a fucking antidote for his stuff, but turns out it actually healed his HP. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. We do a little bit of that. Damn it, he just basically punched through all of the setup I was doing. I was working really hard to try and, you know, give him way too much shit to handle at once. He's gonna charge straight through that shit. He does not give a fuck. Fine, how about Volcano then? Antidote that. Yeah, he shouldn't fucking heal HP from antidotes. I don't. Just fucking cures your shit. Oh, there's the Baylor. Oh, fuck. I appreciate that he doesn't use the Baylor up until this fight, whenever you take him on, because he shouldn't, really. Like in the fight against Gwendolyn. Like, Brigham wouldn't know to use this. These are new moves he's actually doing with it. But there is one here where you actually break the shield breaks, and then the Baylor kind of just bounces around the arena. So you just have this big thing to worry about for the rest. Like, he is very fearsome. We have to be extremely careful here. I can't believe that dude's been blocking the whole time. I know what I must do. Brionic. Alright, here comes our big finishing move. Didn't even see it coming. You're down. Am I teabagging him? Whatever. See you for Oswald next time.
My Baylor, how could the most powerful cipher of all be destroyed by such a tiny bow?
It worked, Your Majesty.
Finish him, Queen Mercedes.
His once terrifying visage is now the face of an old man awaiting execution. 'Twould be a simple thing to avenge my mother with a single blast. But die and you'll be a martyr. I will not have you find glory in death. Your successor will only try to gain the cauldron once again. So you must decide. If you choose to never show your face to me, nor set foot in our land, and choose to remain forever in your northern lands, I shall spare your life. If you choose to die, we will invade your homeland. Your people will lose even more after you are gone. So swear to me, Odin. Swear to be gone.
I swear it.
Do not try to deceive me.
I have shamed Myself. If I were to break my word, my people's pride and honor would disappear.
Valkyrie, bear witness. Inform Odin's troops.
Now, go.
Former Demon Lord. Leave the ring that controls the cauldron. Take your troops and leave this place. Always remember your oath for as long as you live.
Tell me your name, Queen of Ringford.
I am Mercedes, daughter of Leifthrasir. As long as I am alive, I shall always keep my weapon pointed at you. Our treasure has returned, and our long suffering has come to an end. I promise peace will return. Secure the cauldron. Send out a prayer to those who gave their lives for our glorious victory.
Such a splendid leader, holding Odin's life within the palm of your hand. We are all proud of you. That negotiation was a brilliant political move. Did you see the looks on the soldiers' faces? None shall dare to view you with contempt or disdain. Stand proud and triumphant, Mercedes. You are indeed a true queen.